I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning. Welcome to the December 21st, 2015 meeting for the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair, also represent District 2. Joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller, representing District 1. Good morning. And Commissioner Bob Archer, representing District 3. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, our first item.
First item today is item 3, consent agenda.
Are there any questions or comments regarding the consent agenda?
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
The vouchers are totaling $966,814.21. $461,835.19 is with pooled cash. The majority of that is payroll. $209,017.33 is health insurance administration. And then Shawnee County Construction Project, $84,599.98, and of that is that Bettis Asphalt project, $83,900. I have no questions. Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
There are no correction orders today.
All right.
Item B, Parks and Recreation, number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C 553-2015 with BA Green Construction for the design and construction of the Midwest Health Aquatic Center at a guaranteed maximum price of $9.25 million and the Dornwood Spray Park at a guaranteed maximum price of $600,000.
Good morning, Commissioners. John Knight, Parks and Recreation. We're here today to ask for your approval of the contract amendment to the design build contract with BA Green. This action today would set the project budgets at $9.25 million for the Midwest Health Aquatic Center and $600,000 for the Dornwood Spray Park. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Are there any questions regarding the proposal or the amendment to contract? Commissioner Archer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to point out that shortly after the consolidation of city and county parks and recreation, this commission contracted with the nationally known pros consulting firm to provide a master plan to guide Parks and Rec for the next 10 to 20 years. The resulting master plan was very comprehensive and actually exceeded my expectations. A centerpiece of the master plan was to make a significant investment in Dornwood Park and to build an aquatic park in the southwest. There is virtually no Parks and Rec present in the southwest quadrant now. The Midwest Health Aquatic Center not only will balance Parks and Rec opportunities in Shawnee County, but it will be a venue to be enjoyed by all. I also once again want to thank Jim Klossman, Butch Eaton, and the entire Midwest Health team for their generous donation. Midwest Health is deeply committed to our community, and I applaud that commitment. And with that, I will move to approve the contract.
Commissioner Bueller, any comments or questions? John, on the agenda, on the memorandum, you have down at the bottom the actually, for point of procedure, I'll second, but I have a question. My question is as to the timeline you have for late spring of next year for the spray park and for early summer for the aquatic facility. Are these realistic timelines?
I think I feel real comfortable about the Dornwood Spray Park. There's been a lot of hiccups as we've moved along on the Midwest Health Aquatic Park, but according to our contractor, he still thinks sometime in the summertime we could have it. But I don't know what the weather's going to do for the next 2 months either. So,
there's a number of factors that can enter into this, correct? And
yes.
Weather, if we're doing excavating, making sure that anything that comes up. So if we put a timeline of the spring or summer, just remember, there's things that are outside the control of the commission that may delay those things, and so just putting that out to the public.
And the Parks and Rec Department, too.
And John
Outside
Knight.
my control.
There's been a motion by Commissioner Archer to approve, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B2, consider approval to purchase 3 iPad Airs and cellular data service from Verizon Wireless for use with the CanPay OTC service at a cost of $379 each, and monthly cellular data service of $40.01 per device.
Commissioners, this is a request that some of my administrative staff have been working with IT on to begin to use CanPay, which should save us money in the long term over other credit card type charges. Be happy to answer any other questions you may have.
Any questions regarding this item?
Actually, I do.
Commissioner Bueller.
John, will you be able to use those in the remote sites?
Yes.
Outside of Topeka's city limit and?
Yes, one place is the weed department that currently doesn't have those cards available, but that is the purpose behind doing this, is that we'd be able to take those credit cards away from where the landlines, I'm using terms here that I don't know, IT stuff, and Pat Oblander's really getting a kick out of me talking in IT terms here, so, yes, where we don't have a wire plugged into it.
Okay. Thank you for that explanation.
Sorry to be too technical.
No, you're good. Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B3, consider approval to add summer camps licensed by the state of Kansas to the revolving fund.
Commissioners, this is a request. If you'll recall, last year at about this time, we put 2 golf courses, the Cypress Ridge Golf Course and Lake Shawnee Golf Course, into a revolving fund. Even though we had some of the worst weather in the spring of last year, that fund did prove to be successful. We want to do the same thing this year with several of our summer camp programs that we offer. The way to set this up is that we'll I was called right before this meeting, hollered at 2 or 3 times before she left Chicago. If I don't say these words, I think Betty's going to call in here or send Lauren up here to attack me. We're taking all of the funds that we budgeted for those summer camps, removing those from the general fund and putting those into over there, so there'll be no net effect on the Shawnee County General Fund. These programs then would operate with the revenues that they're produced.
John, just for point of clarification, this is not adding any money to your budget.
No.
This is just more of an accountability for our summer programs, so we can know which programs are working, which programs we're subsidizing, if we're subsidizing it, why. And there are going to be programs for camps for kids that we would anticipate subsidizing. Sometimes that's the role of the commission, is to make sure that we have services to areas that desperately need those services. So this is not like golf or other activities. So, John, do you want to introduce your summer camp?
Yes, just recently hired is Clay Neal. He's worked for the county now twice and worked for the city of Topeka for a while too, and he recently got hired as a summer camp and after-school camp managers. So.
Mr. Neal, congratulations. We look forward to working with you.
Look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Any other questions regarding this?
Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B4, acknowledge receipt and consider approval of the Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Advisory and Advocate Board bylaws and ratification of board members.
Commissioners, John Knight, Parks and Recreation again. This is the action that we need to take to restart up the Parks and Recreation Advisory Advocate Board. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions regarding this? I'll move approval of the bylaws.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
I asked, he asked also the ratification of the board members. Would that
Yeah.
include this part of your motion?
I would
That's the
include that
second.
as part of my motion.
Okay, thank you very much. Item C, Kansas Expo Center. Number 1, consider approval of requests for capital expenditures in a total amount of no more than $29,546.27. A, repair of Tenant 7100 ride-on floor scrubber at a cost not to exceed $3,000. B, extensive repairs to air handler units number 1 and number 2 at a cost of $9,317.67. B, purchase of a select quantity of rental ice skates at a cost of $4,278. D, replacement of compressor on Perlick chiller that service concession stand number 3 at a cost of $958.34. E, purchase and installation of 3 PTAC through-the-wall combination air conditioner and heating units at a cost of $2,525. F, purchase of 300 feet of black pipe and drape in an amount of $2,467.26. G, winterized livestock stall barn for use in sub-freezing weather at a cost not to exceed $2,500. And H, replacement of grease trap in sub-kitchen in exhibition hall at a cost of $4,500.
Good morning, Commissioners. H.R. Cook, General Manager, Kansas Expo Center. Be more than happy to answer any questions regarding particular items, but a couple of the items on here. The ice skates, that is for 60 pair of ice skates to replace some of our current inventory of our most utilized skates, which are the sizes 9 to 12. We do have public ice skating during the day starting on the 23rd in a couple of days, so we'd like to get those orders so they can be in for January. We just make that pitch for the ice skating for the kids that are off from school. Also, the pipe and drape that we're requesting, that is for to supplement our 800 feet that we already have. We utilize that for masking of concerts, trade shows. We also help decorate the dressing rooms in the Landon Arena for our concerts for the stars that come in. Kind of mask that off. And also the winterization of the barn, because we are booking that so intensely right now. We're booking it into the months that normally will freeze, and we normally shut down the livestock facilities. But we've got with Samco and devised a plan to be able to shut down certain areas, drinking fountains and wash bays, so that we can continue to utilize our Domer Arena for winter shows, for horse shows, because those are the last of the few dates that we have open. But the advisory board has reviewed and approved these items, and with this, we have a balance of $1,500 left in our capital repair, coming in skidding to the finish line for the end of the year.
Any questions regarding capital expenditures?
Move to approve.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you very much, HR.
Thank you very much, and I'd like to thank you for your service. This is the last capital request I'll be making in front of the County Commission, so I thank you very much. My record remains unblemished. Stop it over there.
HR, at the Expo Center Advisory Board meeting last week, you announced how many reports you had turned in over the course of your career.
There's 183 monthly reports. So, in essence, I've been up here 183 times begging for money. At the very least. Thank you very much.
Thank you, HR.
Our next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2015-120 through 2015-122, authorizing the transfer of unobligated Public Works operating budget funds into the Special Bridge Fund account, the Special Road and Bridge Machinery or Equipment Fund, and the Special Highway Improvement Fund.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Long, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is our annual request. In accordance with State Statute 68-141G, County Commissioners are authorized to take any unobligated funds from their Public Works operating budget and allow them to split up or put all of it into these special accounts. The way Public Works is operated is typically when we have our operating budgets developed, we are divided into 4 different subgroups: administration, road maintenance, equipment, and bridge maintenance. what we typically do, or what we have been doing, is the budget we request for road maintenance, administration, and equipment is pretty much what we believe we need. On the bridge department, we submit pretty much a skeleton budget in which we provide enough for labor and just a few materials with the intent on utilizing these funds and the excess funds from the previous year for the next year. Now, why we do that is it really, every decision we make throughout a given year makes us, we need to think about it because we know we need to fund our bridge department the next year with these funds. So it really keeps us I guess, on top of our financials as we go through the year. So this is that annual request that we are allowed to take any funds that we may have left over and be able to put them into these one or all of these three special accounts. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Tom, on the resolution that follows, there's an amount noted not to exceed $1,934,207.25.
Yeah, that number comes from, by state statute, they're allowed to put up to 25% of the operating budget that was not spent the previous year. That's just the absolute maximum it could be and we've never reached that amount, but if we, for some, say we came in under budget 1.5 million, the maximum we can do would be the 1.1 million.
Okay. So, but at this point, it's a little tough to say what that actual amount will be in the end.
Right.
Okay. Any other questions?
No, I move to adopt the resolutions.
Motion to adopt the resolution by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item D2, consider approval of resolution number 2015-123, authorizing the placement and maintenance of stop signs on Southwest Jewish Road at Southwest 41st Street, Northwest and Southeast corners.
Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. We received requests from both the Sherwood Improvement District Board and the Mission Township Board. This intersection is an intersection, 41st Street at Urish is on the borderline between Mission Township and the Sherwood Improvement District. And is those entities' responsibility for the maintenance of this intersection. They have both sent in requests wanting to install 2 more stop signs at that intersection to make it an all-way stop. And I've been through that intersection many times, and I fully concur with their request. This intersection is a little unorthodox, I guess. If you go through it, because there's another road, 40th Street, just to the north, and it's just kind of an odd traffic control situation. So I would recommend or concur with their request to have the intersection be an all-way stop, and if it is approved and the signs are installed, then those entities will be responsible for the maintenance thereafter. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions regarding it?
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item E, Information Technology. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of Contract C-554-2015, amendment to Contract C-510-2009 with AT&T for several ISDN-PRI circuits for 6 months at existing contract pricing.
Morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Blender with the Information Technology Department. Then John come up and explain the technical details of those circuits, but I think it would be a waste of everybody's time, so I'll take care of it for you. These 5 circuits are circuits that are going to be replaced, not replaced, but transferred to another company away from AT&T. It's part of a project that we're doing to transfer a lot of our technologies from one place to another in telecommunications area. It's taking us a little bit longer to get these circuits transferred over, so we're asking for another 6-month extension on the existing pricing. If we get this pricing locked in, it'll be the same as it's been all along, $3,645 a month. If we don't do the contract, it'll jump up to $18,737 per month for the same set of circuits. So it's pretty important that we get these done. We do expect to complete the work during this next 6-month interval, so we will be having to do an early termination, and we'll have to pay some early termination fees. But if we allow these circuits to expire in the existing contract, the amounts we would pay in just 2 months would exceed what it will cost us for the full 6 months for the same 5 circuits. So I'm fully on board with the concept of going ahead for another 6-month extension on this and then paying early termination fees as we get done about halfway through the contract is where we expect to be. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those.
Pat, once we get all of these items over to the new system, are we going to have that continuing cost of these circuits?
Yes, we will have a continuing cost for similar service. The actual circuits will be retired, but we're transitioning from PRI circuits, or primary rate interface circuits, over to data circuit. So the technology is going to change, but there will still be a monthly fee for the connectivity services that will be provided by Windstream. And we do expect that that cost will come in lower than $3,645 a month for an equivalent amount of traffic that will be able to support the same number of phone calls.
Other questions? I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item F, corrections. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contracts C-555-2015 and C-556-2015 with Sound Products, Inc. for equipment maintenance and preventive maintenance services for the surveillance and security access control systems for a 5-year period for a combined annual total of $24,480 to be paid from the detention budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tim Phelps, Department of Corrections. Essentially, this is a continuation of services that the Sound Products has been providing since we entered into a contract with them to build the system that they're servicing. And we have learned in the last 5 years that there's a lot more work that needs to be done to maintain this system than was originally anticipated when it was brand new. So that's why there's an uptick in the amount of man-hours that are going to be paid for.
Questions regarding this item?
Move to approve the contracts.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, approved by, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-557-2015 with Sound Products, Inc. for surveillance system software upgrades at a cost of $14,845.
Again, Commissioners, this is an item that has to do with a transition from older technology to newer technology. There's 600-plus cameras in the facility, and they come and get the traffic of those cameras get directed by our servers, and then they go out to workstations. The servers and the workstations are running on older software, and the licenses and the man-hours that need to be used to upgrade it to the current version of the software is what's involved in this agreement.
Questions regarding this?
Move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller,
Second.
second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F3, consider authorization and execution of contract C-558-2015 with Johnson Control, Inc. for annual maintenance of the HVAC system controls at a cost of $12,730.
Commissioners, this is another service that is managed by a sole source vendor for all of our HVAC controls. This newest agreement will eventually, once the kitchen is finished with construction, will also include the equipment that's in that kitchen. So that's essentially what this agreement is.
Questions regarding this? I'll move approval of the approval of agreement.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item F4, consider authorization and execution of contract C-559-2015 with the City of Topeka for the provision of 2 department staff members to supervise work crews for code compliance work in the city in 2016 at a cost to the city of $200,000 to be deposited in the corrections fiscal year 2016 payroll budget.
Commissioners, this is now the third year that we have used this type of agreement with the city where they have agreed to pay not only the standard salary, but that salary plus overtime rate for these two individuals so that we can justify removing them out of the operations and putting them into this project. This also includes in this agreement that we will let them use some of the equipment that we purchased, lawn mowing equipment, and service that equipment as they go along. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Questions?
No questions, move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item G, Human Resources. Number 1, acknowledge receipt of compensation study results report.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell, Interim Human Resources Director. It's here, finally here. It's been a long haul. This is not an action item. I've added this information on for the Commission to consider, for the public to see, for our employees to see. This has been the culmination of a process that has started back in June. In October, we received a preliminary report with preliminary findings. This is the final report with recommendations. Also attached on the public agenda are the proposed pay scales that CBIZ has recommended that the county implement. Since the preliminary report, we have been gathering information from department heads, from employees, and from the representatives of the employees, and working to determine the best way to ultimately implement CBIZ's final recommendations. From this point forward, I will take the specific information related to the individual represented bargaining units and provide that information to the representatives, and we'll try to reach agreement on wages. We'd like to negotiate based upon the study, and I just want to thank you for taking this step on behalf of our employees. It's an important step. It's something that's never been done with the county. The purpose of this study is to identify what market wages are for our positions so that we can attract and retain quality employees, because that is the most efficient way and fiscally responsible way to operate. Not to pay too much, but not to pay too little, because if you pay too little, you have training expenses as you repeatedly have to hire and train employees. You have overtime expenses for positions that are continually vacant that must be filled. We are a governmental operation that performs important public services that the public expects to receive. We cannot simply close down the jail or 911 if we don't have enough staff. So this is an important investment in our employees. I thank you for taking it, and from this point, we will work towards implementing the study as quickly as possible. If you, I'll answer any questions you might have.
Jim, I might note, thank you for all of your work and leadership that you have put into this. This is a big deal for Shawnee County. This should not be understated. This is a first time that we've done something like this, a full top-to-bottom review of Shawnee County's wages. Some of the results were surprising, some were not. But the next step was the implementation of it, and so I fully expect that your office is capable and ready to start that. Could you detail for us just how that would proceed, just briefly? We only have 2 commission meetings till the end of the year.
Right, and we won't have it fully implemented before the end of the year. There's just too much work to be done. I already have staff in the Human Resources Office, with help from IT, inputting the new recommended pay schedules. And it isn't a thing, you know, when I first started checking into, well, how would we transition? You think, well, could we get this information in a spreadsheet and copy and paste it over? But it doesn't work that way. Each individual is going to have to be specifically inputted into our IFAS system with new pay scales. So that's going to take a little bit of time to input. We won't be inputting those employees covered by bargaining units until we reach agreement with their representatives as to wages going forward. So we will be working to get the specific results out for each individual employee in those bargaining units to their representatives this week. We will be setting up meetings with their representatives thereafter, and we'll start negotiating and try to reach agreement. And the sooner we can reach agreement, the sooner we can implement the results.
Is it possible for plans to be retroactive back to?
That's up to you. It is technically possible within our system to do that. I've asked that question and said yes. They don't like to do it that way, but it is technically feasible to do that. So it's just a matter of negotiating and coming to agreement.
And just as a reminder, Shawnee County, during their budget process, we did budget $2.1 million for salary wages, and so I would anticipate that we will be looking at that for this implementation as to where it'll come from. It's an identified source. Jim, again, how many employees does Shawnee County need?
Well, affected by the study, approximately 1,000.
But how many employees does Shawnee County have total? Just as I don't know that that's the thing that a lot of the media and press know and public know.
Well, in the summertime, when we ramp up our seasonal staff in Parks and Recreation, we might have as many as 1,500 on payroll at any given time. It really fluctuates depending on the seasons. But permanent employees are approximately 1,000. Classified employees, approximately 300. Those represented by bargaining units, approximately 700.
Makes Shawnee County a major employer in this area.
Absolutely, and it's important to, again, target those wages so that they're competitive, so that, and that's the responsible way to run an organization.
Commissioner, you or any?
The whole thing, it's comprehensive. It's not just one employee unit. It's independent with CBIZ, their participation, and our contract with them, which we invested a significant amount of money. And it provides a baseline then for us going forward to repeat this possibly in 5 years. So, I think it was maybe about 3 years ago, we started in the budget process setting aside a certain amount for salaries. And granted, I've been there in the good years and the not-so-good years, and so we did make a commitment of setting aside $2.1 million for increases. That's a first step of getting us to these numbers, and I know going into budget for 2017, we're going to have those discussions again to finish what we can implement, and we've made this commitment. We made this commitment back in January. Also, when we had the discussion, I think at the very first meeting of the year. And so we've come full circle. But you have been very helpful, and I know Betty's office, a lot of work.
Well, that's what I wanted to say. You thanked me, but I was only a part of the process. I couldn't have done what I did without Betty and her staff, with the HR staff, and with county councilor staff picking up my slack, being in HR.
True, that's right.
So it was a team effort, plus I can't tell you how many meetings I had with department heads and representatives of the employees, and all of that information exchange, that we've spent a lot of time.
Good.
So,
thank you.
Commissioner Archer.
Yeah, I just wanted to say this is a big deal, and I'm looking forward to having it implemented, and I wanted to thank you. It's interesting how we've got an interim HR director who we gave a monumental task, but you've done well, and Betty, of course, has done well, and I just wanted to thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Make a motion to acknowledge receipt of the study.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you, Jim. Our next item.
Item H, Commission. Number 1, reflect appointment of Commissioner Archer by Commissioner Archer of Jerome Jerry Dash to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1, 2016.
Scared me there for a second. I thought we were appointing a Commissioner
I did
Archer to something.
That scares me. He's here this morning. If you would stand up, Jerry. Jerry is eminently qualified to serve on the Planning Commission. I thank him. He has been the president of a local real estate company. He founded and served as president of a mortgage company in Topeka, and until a few years ago, he was the owner-operator of all the Subway restaurants in Topeka and Shawnee County. So,
I don't have any coupons.
thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Just for formality's sake, it's not necessary, but I'll make a motion to appoint Mr. Desch to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item H2, reflect reappointment by Commissioner Bueller of Christy McKenzie and Nancy Johnson to the Planning Commission for a 3-year term commencing January 1, 2016.
And I would just like to say thank you to these young women, I'll call them young women. Christy McKenzie is a councilwoman on Rossville City Council, and Nancy Johnson has been a respected member of this community for a long time, and so I appreciate them serving again. I think it's important to have some continuity when we're going to be discussing comprehensive plan, so I appreciate their willingness. So I would move approval.
And the formation of a county code.
Yes, exactly, the building code.
So, are you moving for approval of
Yes.
this? Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller of these,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item H3, announcement of a vacancy for a member at large on the Shawnee County Fire District Number 1 Board.
This is notification that Mike Killian will not be serving. He's decided not to serve again, so if we could keep that open for the next 2 weeks and receive people who are interested, if they want to send resumes, letter, whatever. But this is not my appointment, this is the commission's appointment, so if we could do that for the next 2 weeks, then.
And in order to fill the Fire District Number 1, what specifics do we have to have? Do they have to reside in the county?
I believe they have to serve within Shawnee County Fire District Number 1, and that encompasses a couple of different townships, and so maybe we could get that information out, and maybe I could work with Luke and
Sure.
the county clerk.
We can get that information for him and give it to Jane as well.
Great.
For inquiries in your office.
And any persons that are interested, please direct those to the Shawnee County office, and we will take those and review them for interviews or appointment. So noting the vacancy. Our next item.
Item 5, administrative communications.
If there are any department heads or members of the public that have any items to bring to the commission, now would be your opportunity.
Commissioners, Town Block again, Public Works and Solid Waste. This is solid waste items with the holiday weeks coming up. I just wanted to remind people again of what the changes will be in our collection schedule. We did send out a news release late last week for this week. And some of the changes are being implemented today, but I thought I'd announce them again in case we can catch a few more people. But today, we are collecting Monday and Tuesday customers. Tomorrow, we'll be collecting Wednesday and Thursday customers, and then on Wednesday, we'll be collecting for our Friday customers. That's this week, and then Thursday and Friday, there will be no collections. Next week, for the New Year's holiday, we will not be collecting on Friday, the 1st, so Monday, there will be no change, it'll be just Monday customers only. On Tuesday, we're going to be collecting Tuesday and Wednesday customers. On Wednesday, we'll be collecting Thursday customers, and then Thursday, we'll be collecting Friday customers. We will be sending out this notice next week, or later this week, I believe, but just wanted to announce it also. So,
Great. Thank you, Tom.
and I got my notice in the mail of our collection schedule for next year's holidays, so hopefully everybody else did too. And I put it on my refrigerator, because I tend to forget also, so
Thank you.
it does help.
Are there any other administrative communications this morning? Commissioner Bueller?
I have nothing other than we will not be meeting on Thursday. We'll be closed, and wish everybody a Merry Christmas.
Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, I just wanted to wish everybody a merry and safe Christmas. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Without us meeting on the 24th, Our next commission meeting will be on December the 28th. If there are any department heads that have any items to place before the commission on the agenda, please make sure that you have those turned in by noon tomorrow. It's a little bit different. Typically, you might have a little bit longer to get your items in, but we're setting the agenda and closing those by noon tomorrow if there's any items you want on the agenda. And again, I would also wish everyone a happy holidays, and please be safe over this extended break. Our next item.
Item 6, executive session.
I don't know that there is, or don't see a need for an executive session today. We are adjourned.